So this is the first time that we've had this great event happening where all the presidents men, and hopefully tomorrow it will be all the presidents men and women contesting and putting forth their propositions on the elections and the great bar that we have in the present case. Pallavi, you're here with us and thank you so much for Bar and Bench for collaborating on this event. So I would want you to have this great rapid fire test. Everybody must pass it though.
Yes. Thank you. So my first question is, what do you offer over the other candidates and what is your USP in one line, please? Kirti, will start with you.
I can only say, I have an image of big brother and I want to be a big brother only because that's how the youngsters, they feel, main hoon na.
Abhijat?
USP, my willingness to work, my performance in the past, and my willingness to hear and solve problems.
Okay. Vivek?
First of all, level playing field for young first generation lawyers. Secondly, taking a stand, against the designation process, gender equality. All decisions of the bar should be taken at the general body meetings, collective decision making.
Okay. And one thing you admire about your opponent. So you have to tell for Abhijat and Vivek.
He'll making me run from pillar to pillar,
Is that for both or for Abhijat?
For both.
Okay.
So I'm fighting with two intellectuals.
Yeah.
Kirti bhai, the simplicity of thought process, and Vivek bhai, the dignity with which the campaign has been run.
Mr. Kirti Uppal, he's very frank in his opinion, he's very straightforward, and Abhijat, my good friend, very suave, very gentle, very soft.
Thank you. What do you have to say about, do you think the practitioners who've been doing bar politics for many years have an edge over the ones who are jumping into the fray now?
It's not a bar politics. This word politics being used is denigrating the profession. It's not a politics because here, at least he'll agree, it's a sacrifice. Your personal life goes for a toss. Your life starts at 8:30 from cremation ground to various things, then the problems, then solving the problems if they're solved, and then hearing all those people's grievances. It's a lot of consumption of time. And because God gives you that kind of energy and that kind of a shakti, that you listen to their problem and you're able to do something which very few people get.
So you've been doing that for a while. So do you have an edge over the practitioners who are getting into this now?
One line should I say? And I always say this, in IMA, when you go there for your interview, you are asked to write about yourself. And if you have to write about yourself, you'll never write anything which goes against you. And if you write all those things which are not true about your personality, there are people who are sitting there. They are psychoanalysts, they are commanders, they are everything. They see. मैं कुछ भी बोल सकता हूँ. मैं ये करूँगा, मैं वो करूँगा. मैंने ऐसा किया. I have done this. They are the people who are sitting there. They know what I have done. So they'll choose the best.
It works both ways. If you have been in the executive in the past, if you have performed, yes, it gives you an advantage. But if you are a non-performer, you stand exposed. So it works both ways. There's no definite advantage that accrues. It's your performance that counts.
Yeah. And you are contesting
Okay.
for the first time.
I'm the first timer. I think
that's why Pallavi chose this particular question among three of you.
Excellent. I think the edge they have over me is experience. But as Abhijat said, that if you did not perform, you also have a negative baggage around me. And being a first timer, the advantage I carry is I have fresh ideas on the table. People look at me with fresh set of eyes.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Do you think bar elections need reforms and there should be curb on the amount of spending that happens in elections?
I not only agree, I wish It's very unfortunate that we should have started all this long time back. The thing which you people have started, if this becomes a part of our next elections, this is the best thing. You have podcasts, you have all this thing. Why do you need expenditure? If you're meeting everybody the same way, if you're shaking hands, if people are coming, hugging you and you're hugging, you're watching a board, person comes, you hug him or her. That's what is required, a connect.
Yeah.
So if you have a connect, you don't have to spend. And that's simple.
Very quickly, expenditure doesn't guarantee you votes. It perhaps increases the public perception, that's all. Secondly, if every candidate scrupulously follows the election code, there will be no expenditure. It's only if there is no level playing field and somebody breaches once, then the others have to follow. So, expenditure is something which never gets you
So
votes.
you're saying take action against the first.
You must.
In fact, the judgment by which we will have one day all elections says that no parties and all that and all that.
Yeah.
No, that needs to be implemented at the ground zero. It's very difficult to implement that. Proxy parties, this you regulate only to a certain extent, but definitely it's a fantastic thought. And I would definitely commend that we should follow the concept which is followed in the Supreme Court. Timely elections every year, very narrow. The dates are there, and I think they're very finely fought and regulated and organized.
Okay, mandatory stipend for junior lawyers, yes or no?
Yes, completely.
Well, I told you I belong to that old school of thought, but in my chamber, yes, when God was kind to me, I realized the problem. It is not only mandatory, it should be equivalent to their lifestyle which they are living.
Yes, yes, and yes.
You are for the younger
Yes,
lawyers.
yes, yes, yes.
No, no, we're all for the younger.
Yeah.
We all belong to that. चलो बाद में बताऊंगा.
Foreign law firms entry, should they be allowed or not?
In my view, not at this point in time, because the various bar associations across the country are yet to become, they're yet to come on par. I was at the Harvard Law School about 10 years back. They were talking about foreign law firms entering India. What to talk of foreign law firms entering into India? You can't appear without a local lawyer in Noida or Ghaziabad or Hapur. So first we need democratization and reforms within our bar association before we invite them over. So no at this point in time.
Okay.
No entry of foreign law firms at this stage unless there is complete reciprocity. Our law degrees and our licenses given by the bar council should be recognized in the jurisdictions from which the law firms want to come to India. Indian lawyers are not inferior. They have to be recognized, there has to be reciprocity, and then we'll think.
It's a futile exercise because, first of all, no law firm will be allowed here.
Local bars will not permit them to come.
Foreign law
That's
firm,
what he's saying.
No foreign law firm will be allowed here. It's as simple as anything.
Okay, so
Flexing of muscles, huh?
should lawyers or law firms be allowed to advertise?
Not at all.
Aren't they advertising?
Not according to me, because it actually lowers the dignity. It's a noble profession and we should not be selling our wares. The client should seek us out and find us.
Not at all. Otherwise, the profession
now
of
things
law.
have- now things have-
Otherwise, the profession of law will become a business.
Now things are
not
slightly,
at all.
Now things are slightly different.
Not
because
at
your
all.
judgments-
We must stick to traditional principles of no publicity, no advertisement.
Okay, the majority is more than no. Okay,
In a
and
general way, your last few questions have actually brought a very common kind of uniform consensus on these issues.
yeah, and what are you going to do next to get timely elections next time? Every time there's a delay, as we all know. What are you going to do if you're elected to make sure there's timely
And
election?
I place this on record and it's being captured on video. 1 month's grace period and the elections will be held in the month of April 2027.
See, this is again a misnomer that delay has been done on our part. It's not the lawyers who have done the delay. The matter was in the court. And as what happens in other matters, it happened here also, in election matters. When you have a mechanism, and that mechanism is that 6 months prior to the election, the process will start. Once the process starts, and if it is not over, that committee will be taken over by an ad hoc committee. So it's not going to benefit anyone.
Yeah.
So once you have made that law, you have to implement that law.
I strongly believe elections must be held on time. I shall put in my papers the day my tenure ends.
Okay. And one last question. How does the bar hold you accountable once you're elected to your manifestos in next 6 months or a year? How do they hold you accountable to what you have committed?
Non-performing, high-headed presidents have been beaten up by bar members in the past. So that is one way of holding people accountable. This simple, you don't perform, you don't get elected. That's all.
It's a very simple thing. Next time you will never come. A. B. Our members are so proactive that even if you're not doing, they won't spare you. They'll catch hold of you and say, you did this, you said this, you said this. So you will be accountable every day. This is not a question of a member of parliament or a MLA who comes after 5 years. That man is seeing you every day. That man will say, you liar, you said this.
The legal community is very, very active, and you congregate in the court every morning in the bar room, corridors of the court, canteen. So you are accountable each day. You can just not get away from your manifesto and the promises you have made.
So whoever gets elected out of all of you, and of course there are 1 or 2 more candidates, ultimately will be accountable there. So good.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
There is a high level of accountability in the Delhi High Court bar, in my view.
Okay, that's it. Thank you,
Thanks.
and may the
Thank you
best
very
one
much.
win.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you
and
so
Bharat,
much,
thanks for
everybody.
inviting us.
Thank
We are
you.
delighted that you could find this energy to come forth for this program,
Thank
and you came through so willingly. And we hope that we can form this as a sequence for your interaction with your
Can you take
communities.
a panga with Pinky?
You can't.
It's as simple as anything. Pinky said you have to come.
But a great
Thank
platform
you.
for us to
Great,
interact
great.
and
Thank
hear
you.
our views.
Lovely,
Thank you
lovely.
very much.
Yeah.
Thank
Lovely
you.
intervention.
Joy, thank you so much. Thank you.
Lovely
Thank you.
questions,
Thank you.
lovely.